証明してくれるあと何回の夏だこれで何回目の夏ださあ果たそういつかのあの約束を僕らいつか
Okay, welcome everyone back to another round here, another set of matches that we have in the round of 32 for the OMLN4 tournament number 4. We've got some interesting matches coming up here. First one being Dyei versus imyeeyee, seed number 63 versus seed number 31. This is in the losers bracket, important to note. So the loser of this match is going to be eliminated from the tournament here. I'm Potassium F, going to be casting alongside Nightcore. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Potassium, and yeah, as you said, going to be an interesting matchup. We're seeing Dyei versus imyeeyee, so as you were saying, the losers bracket, so going to be playing with fire a small bit to see who stays alive in round of 16. So looking at both these players from last week, having some unfortunate losses. I believe Dyei was up against Hafen and unfortunately got clean swept. Yi having much of a better fight going up against Dark Geyser, but losing out 3-5.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time I'm casting imyeeyee today, actually. After the Mania World Cup Grand Finals match that happened earlier. So imyeeyee definitely a extremely strong player all around, but you would have to say the one weakness that is very exploitable here is the early game accuracy. Not a player that really specializes in accuracy, more of that combo player. So in these early rounds, it is definitely very possible to be able to strike back against a player, despite what you saw before rank number 7 4K. A little bit scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, just looking at the MP links from last week, Dyei actually held her own and actually had pretty similar PA to Yi. So I would probably guess this will be something like density versus coordination type of matchup as well. So with Yi getting the victory on the roll, I would not be too surprised if they jump into one of the density picks. Maybe even one of the wildcards as well.
Yeah, well, you can definitely imagine, maybe not necessarily density versus coordination specifically, but it might end up being that way anyway, because I feel like Jay would definitely want to be picking kind of the more accuracy focused maps, the ones that maybe are a little bit less physically challenging and more just focused on that weird accuracy, because that is where the advantage is going to come from if you want to beat a player like imyeeyee, because I don't think you can rely on Yi finding any misses pretty much on a map pool like this.
Alright, so Tech 2 is going to be getting protected by Yi, so I can see Tech 2 as well. It is kind of more meta LN, as the words would be saying, and I would say it's kind of that wildcard pick, so I guess it's really what they're comfortable with. So Dyei is going to be going to Coordination 1. That was going to be my prediction anyways. Very slow and very accuracy centered, so not really too surprised they go for a protect like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Less physical means Yi can definitely not exercise that kind of physicality advantage as much as he would like. And it's going to be wildcard 3 being banned right away, so getting rid of one of the wildcards. All the density probably going to be staying up in this case.
I would see as well why wildcard 3 be getting out the equation.
Oh, never mind, he's rolling.
oh my god. Well, you can't ban
Roll the
it.
1. And that's the
Okay,
that's the
6.
ban. Interesting. So 6 is going to be Tech 3. Wait,
Right.
did Yi roll the protect as well? I didn't see.
I think he did.
Oh, okay.
we have seen it before. So, you know, if they're rolling, that might get me to fear that they might have not played this through yet.
Perhaps. I mean, okay, to be fair, that would make a lot of sense given the other stakes that we have this week going on.
Yeah, we're NWC. I would totally understand that. So he's probably going to be, I won't be surprised if he's rolling his picks as well. But yeah, okay, he is.
He just straight up says he'll do it until quarterfinals, so that means if he survives this match, he'll do it next week as well.
Density 1, okay, they rolled Density 1. So, I would say this is kind of more the technical density, I would say. 3 minutes long as well, so kind of have to keep that endurance up. I think this roll actually did favor Yi a small bit.
Yeah, I mean, density is definitely more in the realm of what you would want imyeeyee to be able to pick here. It's definitely a play that can be able to combo the more coordination-focused maps, but I think the more straightforward the map, the better. Maybe the other densities might have been slightly better in that regard, but this one's still very difficult.
Yeah, especially you have to take some of those bursts into account. There are some coordination aspects as well, but judging how both players are pretty equal when it does come to coordination, I think they would have to keep up their consistency as well if they do want to take this lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay cannot afford any misses basically in this match because, imyeeyee just coming out of being able to FC the Grand Finals MWC LN1 earlier today, which is 4 minutes long. That one much harder than any of the maps we're getting today. So we are expecting high combos here, and off the gates, actually imyeeyee with a little bit of an ACK lead, but not by much.
Yeah, again, this is just the start, so the snappings are still relatively simple, but as we do kind of kick off in the match, we're seeing a lot more of the uniqueness coming in. Axie is pretty much tight at this point, just kind of battling in between some of those 200s as well.
Yeah, important note, I think he's hitting a little bit early here, prone to hitting a few more 200s, and yeah, we can see this accuracy closing in on each other over time, but Dyei does drop it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that. Like, again, there's a lot to manage in this map. You have to
There goes Yee's accuracy. A few 200s there. We're basically tied up again.
Actually, yeah, seeing that, both the accuracy, as you were saying, yeah, tied up. And both players kind of start to gradually decrease the accuracy, but it's still getting closer ever so slightly.
Rough miss.
Dive with that awful combo break. Just going to be getting the lead back over to Yee. We still have half a map left, but judging by their consistency, especially if you see the MWC, I think a miss would be pretty unlikely.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a miss, and even then, that was a really messy miss from Jay. That was a big act drop as well. They're now 0.3% apart from each other. So one miss by itself is not going to be enough to counteract this gap right now. Will grow over time as well.
And especially, we still have half the map left, where it does get more physical. You're seeing some more of those snapping, some of those bursts, as the density jump stream still rolls in, and nothing's really breaking between both players. Like, you can see that, like, not even 200 speed traded back and forth, but even then, Yee can't even afford a few, and even a drop at this point as well. So they do have that safety net to cover them.
Yeah, Yee just maintaining kind of the same accuracy, the low 99.7s, and that's well more than enough right now. Jay is not going to be able to recover this accuracy any higher than what it is right now, 99.4.
Also, in the middle of that, I do believe that I did find a drop right at the end of that Ki section as well. So, still going to be giving the lead over towards Yee, and a very hefty one at that. I think there has to be something fatal having to happen to Yee if the lead has to swing back over towards Dyei.
And it really feels like there's nothing much that could happen. It needs to be a lot of chain misses in a row, and there's simply not enough time, honestly. Now we're already at this very last section. No signs of any kind of drops coming out of imyeeyee anymore. Jay does increase the accuracy a little bit, but gonna be nowhere near enough here. A solid 5-digit difference between the two.
And that's going to close out the map. Going to be giving Yee their first point, and a pretty comfy one that with that 990 with that A200s as well. Had that miss not happened, I still think it would have went over towards Yee's side.
Oh, definitely. We can see towards that second half, Jay did kind of start slipping in the 200 count and the ratio. We can see in the end, imyeeyee winning in the ratio and the 200 count and the combo as well. So even though it was close until halfway, I feel like maybe the bit of stamina potentially starting to wear down on some of Jay's accuracy there.
And that is definitely something you don't want, because it can also apply to the other density picks and even some of the wildcards as well, knowing that they are pretty long. Even coordination free as well, I would reckon. But speaking of, coordination free getting jumped into. Now, the thing that kind of raises my question a small bit, this is 3 minutes as well, and it is the most physical compared to the other two coordinations. So, will the stamina take a toll on Dyei, or will they be able to find a way through this?
Well, I mean, as long as it's like a bit less physical, you would have to say would be probably fine with the stamina, but I feel like coordination maps kind of have a different form of stamina, if that makes sense, you know? The kind of focus required to play some of these coordination picks definitely does keep you on edge for so long that it's very easy for your brain to just kind of run out of stamina.
Absolutely. And I think that mental stamina has to be the key for Dyei, because if they don't have the mental stamina to cover this, then that essentially locks out Coordination 1, and maybe even Coordination 2 as well.
We'll see how it goes here. This is going to be Jay's first pick. Going to be one that they want to pick up as well. This one, a little bit more focused on that tricky kind of accuracy. So definitely potential here. We see both the accuracies quite similar. I mean, he does drop a couple 200s there, so lead for Jay in the opening.
That gives a pretty hefty start, but again, like, it can be subject to change. Like, I think 200s will be traded here and there, but miss could also be likely by either one of the players. But when we do get more into the map where it does develop a bit more, you will be seeing some of those dumping bursts, and Dyei finding a drop on one of them, which is going to be giving the lead over to Yi right before the first Kiai.
Another one of these rough misses, down from 99.7 down to 99.4. Now, imyeeyee has that accuracy advantage, but this one I think is definitely recoverable. imyeeyee doesn't have the biggest ac advantage, is struggling a little bit in that regard, so if Jay can catch up, there's definitely potential to close this score lead a little bit.
Yeah, they actually, like, the thing that kind of raises me though is, like, there's only a 6,000 point difference, so I think if Yi finds an actual miss, not really a 50, but more of that miss, I think there is still that opportunity for Dyei to catch back up. But as these shields kind of still rain down on these players, they are still eating it up perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Halfway through the map now. This accuracy lead is still 0.2 in imyeeee's favor with the misadvantage as well. So Jay is going to pretty much have to hope for a miss to come out from Yi, and a fairly messy one as well, because Yi has been increasing the accuracy all through that shorter section. Now we're getting back into the intense parts.
The density is still kind of taking that toll, kind of making more the climax of difficulty, but both players still holding on well. Dyei catching their accuracy back up ever so slightly, but there isn't really enough time off sheer accuracy alone. A mishap has to happen on the side of Yi if Dyei wants to get back that lead.
And the question really is, will it happen at some point here?
Time will tell, but we're slowly running out of map, and it really looks like Dyei is catching up the accuracy. The final density burst does start to roll in, but looking at both these players, I think the fatigue is starting to take a toll on Dyei, as you can see by the unstable rate, a lot more in the 200 area, and that's going to be giving Yi their second point. Again, it's going to be giving them the breakpoint, and it kind of raises the small question of, was this the best pick for Dyei at this point in time? Like, it was only a 10k point difference, but I think the physicality and fatigue caught up to them near the end of the map.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say, you know, what they should be picking as well, because it does feel like no matter what you throw out here, you can kind of expect this kind of score on all the maps. 990k from imyeeyee for both of these maps now. And I wonder if he's just going to steamroll through with this kind of accuracy, this kind of consistency overall. It is their pick, and okay, not really much point in questioning what they'll end up picking, because we know what's going to happen here.
Okay, technical one. Tech 1. Okay. Tech 1, I think, is a good role for them. I think it can go any way, but that physicality still takes its toll, and especially that's 3 minutes long as well.
Yeah, we're getting all the long maps in the pool out here.
Yeah, so I think when it does come to the length, I think Yi does have that advantage of being able to withstand a lot more when it does come to some of those longer picks. But of course, we will have to see. Now, you do have a lot of those element flams and scanners to focus on. This is pretty flowy, so if you can just get into the swing of things, then, well, I think you should be golden for this map. Again, this is in typical Muses fashion.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a common theme here in both plays. Starting off pretty well, but whoa, that's a really messy miss there from Jay. Not a miss, I should say, but a big set of bad judgments, dropping the accuracy almost down to the 98 range.
The combo is going to matter in a pick like this, so even finding some of those 200s might not be too sufficient for Dyei, so hopefully this will be the only mishap they will find in a map like this. Like, we're not in the Ki yet, so it is too hard to tell right now. And here we are, you're seeing a lot more of those Nigel and snappings, and some of those density areas as well. But both players still holding on very well. Dyei catching up ever so slightly, but finding a 200s actually, as I do say that.
And this athlete only is kind of staying consistent here. Jay's not catching up that accuracy after that initial drop. Still in that 99.2, and imyeee's maintaining a relatively consistent 99.6 at halfway.
And heading into the halfway, yeah, you pretty much said it exactly. And judging that there's not really much difficulty spikes in this map, something will, as I don't want to sound like a broken record, but a mishap does have to happen to Yi. It is possible because, especially in this map's layout, it's not really easy to get away with a clean miss. Like, a 50 is something else, but finding a miss, Dyei caught their accuracy slightly back up during that break, but just the way they performed in the last Ki, will they be able to hold on to that accuracy?
They're definitely going to have to sharpen it up a little bit. They have caught up quite a lot in that, like, less dense section. Still improving, actually. imyeeyee does drop the accuracy a little bit. Not quite enough yet. There has to be more of an act drop coming on from imyeeyee if Jay wants to catch up here.
And as the map closes out, 200 drop by Yi, but again, it's just going to be putting a small dent in their scoring. And we just have very little of the map left where, you know, you only have these final few flams, which isn't really going to be enough to put a dent in their scoring, unless Yi does find a dirty miss here, but I don't think that's likely to happen.
We are going to be seeing the double FC here for the first time, but the accuracy being won out by imyeeyee at the end. Very similar ratios. I think most of that just coming from that early act drop from Dyei with the 200s and that early 100.
And that's something you definitely have to watch out for as well. Like, in a bit, like, how their accuracies are very similar. Like, even finding a small mishap can pretty much decide the outcome of the match. That's kind of what unfortunately happened. That rough start eventually led. It's like a race, pretty much. That if you find that rough start, then it'll be very hard to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yi has really not been giving any advantage, or letting any advantage slip, I should say, not giving any inroads back into any of these maps. And now it is going into Jay's own pick, going to be going into wildcard 2.
Alright. I can see this. This is pretty coordination heavy. Has a bit that physical aspect, but I think they're probably going to try to capitalize off some of the coordination areas. So this is going to be potentially their last pick if they do not win this.
So we might be seeing none of the protects being picked up, potentially.
Well, judging by Yi, I think that protect was just at a concise.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible that Yi still protects their own protect or Jay's protect, right? It is all just
Yeah.
random chance at the end of the day here.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, it will also be pretty likely that the protectors won't get picked. But here we are, and we could just talk about the present, and coming off the intro, actually is very similar coming out here, but of course that is still subject to change.
Yeah, of course, we are expecting these accuracies to start dropping at some point. A lot of opportunity for 200s here. So far, both players keeping consistent. Dyei does drop the first 200s in this section here.
And here we are, throwing everything at you, some of those coordination, with some of those density bursts, and some of those techie element releases as well, allow you have to focus on, and Yi still staying very consistent from that first quarter, still on very similar accuracy, but 0.1% of a difference. Not the most we have seen, but again, a misjudgment from Yi can still bring the lead back over towards Dyei.
Yeah, a couple of 200s there from Yi, so this lead is going to shrink a little bit. It's still within 1,000 points. So definitely able to come back, and there's more accuracy being dropped from Yi. This is dead even just about right now.
We pretty much have to stare down in the halfway point, and as we do get through the halfway point in the second Ki, copying the same thing. I think both these players are very consistent when it comes to managing PA on these Kis. It's just whoever finds that slight mishap first, and for the first time we are actually seeing Dyei have the lead, as I think is pretty much dead even at this point, still flickering around. Even a 200 could just settle the difference for once and for all.
Yeah, impossible to really tell right now. It looks like imyeeyee is dropping in accuracy just a slight bit. Very, very small advantage to Jay right now. So we're getting into the last section of the map already. 0.02 is the only difference in accuracy here.
And anything could still happen. You're seeing some of those shields being introduced as well in the final area of the map. He's still dropping that accuracy, but as we do get into the climax of density, Dyei is still holding on, not bulging ever so slightly in the accuracy, but even dead at 200 could still get the difference as we get to the outro of the map where we're still seeing all these wildcard-esque patterns. I think Dyei's done it. They've took their first point and prevented a sweep.
They absolutely have. What a strong showing there from Dyei, managing to keep the consistency up the entire map long, and we can see there ratios really even between them. It is just that 200 count. imyeeyee was starting to get more and more 200s towards the end section, and that was basically a V1 double S in that last quarter from Dyei.
Very impressive performance in the final Ki from Dyei, and it was still very good scores from both players as well. Absolute amazing performance. So now, with Dyei getting their first point, Yi has to pick wisely next, or should I probably say roll?
Yeah. Yeah, pick wisely, but I think we already kind of know what's going to happen here. It's very possible for... Wait, what's happening? Oh, he's already rolled.
That is...
Wait, he rolled a 3. Paturage rolled a 7.
Padu wants to pick wildcard 1. He wants to make a custom. Of course he does. Judge in the sense, don't worry. Okay, so I would recommend wildcard 1. I had to guess wildcard 1. There we go.
I love imyeeee's message, just of course.
Of course.
Can I pick this for you? Of course you can.
Yeah. Is this a sabotage attempt or not? We don't know. But this is one of the map.
Kind of interested, like, in what would happen if imyeeyee rolled a coordination pick and let Jay back into the game. It's very possible here.
Yeah, even though he is only 1 breakpoint down still, so he can still equalize this. So gonna be interesting to see how this goes. Of course, this is gonna be our custom, well, one of our customs. Hopefully we get our second custom as well if Dyei gets 4 more points as well. Actually, no, 3 points.
Yeah, 3 more points needed for Jai, 1 more point needed for Yi to secure that tiebreaker in some order. but still a long way to get there. This definitely still feels like the match is in imyeee's favor right now.
And let the spinning laptop begin. These patterns are very spinning. Like, you have a lot, the flow, pretty much, that's how I would say. Kind of has the aspects and everything, some of those tech releases and some of those LN scatters as well. Actually pretty similar, I would say, but it still goes towards Yi. Of course, if Yi is sight reading this, they will have to get the breakcore jump scare near the end.
Yeah, it's always rough with things like that. And oh, there's a miss from imyeeyee. First miss of the match, and it comes with a decent amount of accuracy drop as well. Dyei's going to take a good lead from this.
Yikes, this is Padu's plan all along to get Dyei another point. It could ever so be, but as we do get into the break, into the first third, Yi is going to get back up to that 400 combo.
Oh my god!
But Dyei! Oh my!
What a rough time for that one to come in. Into that little break section. I mean, we see it so much. The break section comes around, and right on cue, someone finds that miss. They loosen up a little bit too much there. But it is still Dyei with the lead, despite that miss. It is one miss apiece now, and Dyei has that accuracy advantage. That was a clean miss. That's the upside right now. But oh, that is not a clean miss. Oh my god.
Yikes, that curse was absolutely brutal, and 19,000 points. You could probably presume that was something like a tech issue.
That looked like just hands completely slipping off the keyboard for a second.
And with just this lead from Yi, like this significant lead going into the final quarter map, something similar has to happen on their side. But will the breakcore jump scare get them? There is still a chance that it can get them.
Oh, but will it get them enough? Like, this athlete is massive right now, 0.5%. And it feels like there's just no way that 17,000 points can be recovered that quickly, no matter what the end of the map has in store here. And let's see it.
It doesn't really look like. There just has to be a disconnect at this point if the lead wants to go back over towards Dyei. But
I don't try and curse that kind of thing.
For 5-4-51 disconnect? No.
No. That was really, I mean, yeah, we see 15 misses. That's, I think, 14 of those misses just in a row. That one section there. Such a big opportunity. Look at the accuracy. From easily being won by Dyei from the 200 count, from the ratio, should have been their point by all means. But whatever happened in that one section just completely lost it in a moment.
Very unfortunate on the side of Dyei, but these things happen again, unfortunately. And it's still not over, as I do believe that was Yi's pick, so Dyei can still make this comeback. But
technically only one breakpoint behind, but still a very uphill battle from here.
Yeah, and I would probably have to say going into the Protect. Oh, they're going into the most fun map, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Coordination 1.
Oh, GPU failing me, he says. That's a game freeze then, maybe, that happened in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but I think this pick does favor them, especially just seeing their raw accuracy performance from the previous picks. Like, this is just absolute raw accuracy, but it does have that mental challenge as well. Like, is 85 BPM and 3 minutes 18 seconds, so there's a lot you have to focus on.
We love the low BPM here. And yeah, I completely agree here. I think when it comes to the like kind of wackier timings, the timings that are more difficult with the releases, it does look like Dyei has a bit of an advantage over imyeeyee. So the more of a focus that particular aspect is in the difficulty, the better it is for Dyei, the more likely it is for this comeback to start getting on a bit of a roll.
It's really just 300s being traded back and forth at this intro, which is to be expected. Very hard map to keep your full concentration on, but it is pretty equal. I guess if I was to describe this, it would be the core jack of LN, as if you find a 200, then it's very hard to recover back.
And we can see now the accuracy is kind of leveled out. They are dead even right now. Can't even see any difference in that top bar.
Yikes, only by 3 digits, 2 digits. But as Akia gets in, the vocals get heavier. We'll be seeing more of that column emphasis. But
200 from imyeeyee there.
I was going to mention that as well, but that gives Dyei that pretty nice lead. But again, only 200 up in a map this long. 200s are still possible on the side of them.
I mean, you do say a map is long, it is long, but it is important to note the note count is tiny. So any miss will completely ruin your score basically here. And now we did see Dyei drop a 200, and now we're back to even. Oh, traded again. 99.61 for both players now.
It's pretty much bird watching but for 200s at this point. Yep, there's Dyei again with the over 200 and Yi trading it back. A lot of times you're going to be saying trade, I would guess. But that's how the first KI went, of course with more of that column emphasis, the small bit. Lead actually goes to Yi, as Dyei does find another 200.
Oh, but there's a 200 right back. the lead, yeah, the lead cannot stay put, it seems. We are back to almost being even. 300 points in the lead is imyeeyee right now, coming mostly off of, looks like the ratio, but okay, there's another 200. We're back to even. 24 points different.
Yikes. Oh, 200 draft by Dyei.
Oh my god, we're just 200 counting back and forth. Who will get the last 200? That's really what it feels like right now.
You're pretty much playing a game of tennis, and every 200 is the ball hit back and forth. I mean, whoever gets that foul, then it's just gonna fuck that miss. But will it be possible in a pick like this?
Jay's gonna pick up a little bit too many in a row here. It looks like he is kind of stabilized a little bit at 99.55. 200s drop for both players again, but that just favors Yi. They're already in a bit of a lead now, and this is starting to get significant.
Wait, more 200s dropped on the side of Yi near the end. Is this starting to flicker back towards the side? Like a 50 can still be
it's getting closer. Oh, it's getting closer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, okay. No drops on the side of either player. And yeah, that's what you were saying. Like a 200 on this map with not much notes is absolutely brutal. But that's going to be giving the next breakpoint to Yi, and that does essentially give the victory.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jay is eliminated here in the round of 32, losing both. At least did manage to get on the board, avoid the sweep. Had some very close maps in there, but overall, imyeeyee coming out victorious, managing to FC all but one of the maps.
Very good performance by both players. And yeah, as you were saying, there's only going to be one victor going in. But it was a very close 5-1, I would say. Apart from some of the misses, the accuracy was very close, especially the 200 counts in some of the maps.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to be our match. I'm just having a look at the bracket right now. I do believe the lineup is going to be decided for imyeeyee next week, going to be versing Snow in the losers bracket, which is going to be a very interesting one at that as well. So some of these matchups starting to be laid out ahead of us now. We see some very interesting losers bracket matches, and also some more interesting matches coming up today, because I believe the next one we have is going to be Veloce versus Unitori.
Yikes, that is going to be a very close one. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be in 25 minutes, I do believe, as well.
Yeah, 12 UTC. So make sure you stick around for that one. We'll go on a little bit of a break now, and we'll see you then.
I see you.